Hi there, it's Skyward Shield. Welcome to another Football Talks. I am joined by Bill. Say hello, Bill.
Hey, hey!
All right, the wild card round is in the books. We're going on to the divisional round, but we got some news to cover, coaching news a little bit. Not too much that we want to concern ourselves with, but let's start in Oakland. John Gruden is the highest paid coach right now. In fact, he's got money that would put even some college coaches to shame. He's getting paid for I think 10 years for $100 million. Why $100 million? It's enough to get around Nevada's state taxes.
Yep.
And Bill, I'm not sure how to feel about this one. John Gruden's a pretty solid coach and all. You knew he wanted to come back in for a long time, but I feel like this money is a bit excessive.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't know if I know he won a Super Bowl years ago with Tampa Bay. But I don't know if John Gruden, who hasn't coached in over 8 years, is worth $100 million to the Oakland Raiders. And the other thing is that most of the players were maybe in high school, middle school when John Gruden last coached. So the gap between players has and the generations have changed as John Gruden is now the head coach of the Raiders for go round number two. It'll be very interesting to see how he does. Um, Obviously, he knows the league quite well because he does the quarterback camp on ESPN and all that stuff. So he knows a lot of the quarterback strengths and weaknesses and a lot of the teams, and he always is studying film. It's just, he hasn't managed an in-game situation in a very long time.
Yep. And like I said, this is for 10 years. I'm just wondering, what are you going to do if this all blows up in your face and it doesn't work out? He's like, all of a sudden, now McKenzie, who I've been giving credit for practically saving the Raiders, he made them better, much better. But this coaching choice felt like forced. Like, we have to go John Gruden,
This
big flashy name as we move into Las Vegas. And also, what was that, Raiders, about you saying you don't have money to finance your own stadium, but you just give $100 million to a guy who hasn't coached in over 10 years?
Mark Davis, this screams of the Davis family. This is a typical Davis family move. Constantly doing the exact same thing, just like his father. He's very much doing the exact same thing as his father. That was a I that was a very very interesting move because they could be literally stuck with John Gruden if he has two bad years in a row. I mean, they could be stuck with a contract that they either have to eat at $80 million or you know let him coach for 5 years and then cut him after five and still owe him 50 million.
It's all guaranteed. He's getting paid $10 million a year.
It's
The only coach I could see that's really worth that much money right now is Bill Belichick, and that's because he's the goddamn goat.
I mean, yeah, you need a good coach. Great coaches win Super Bowls, and obviously John Gruden's a good to great coach, but he's been out of the game for 8 years. So this is a reach and a mega
Yeah,
reach.
although
I would.
this is the sad thing. Now I said it before, but now John Gruden, there's like Monday Night Football is in a bit of a bind. I really don't know who they're gonna have to replace him because it was bad enough when I forget his name again. Bill, what's his name?
Mike Tirico.
When Mike Tirico left, and he had some great commentated games like that Ravens Browns game with the blocked field goal.
The, yeah, it's like a pillow fight.
Yep, when he had great games like that one, and then he's gone, and he's just stuck in limbo in NBC. Which I'm thinking, why did you even leave in the first place if you're just gonna host maybe 5 games a year? You know what I mean? And do the pregame show. That for your talent, you deserve better. You deserve to be up on the press box every week.
It won't surprise me if they try to move Al Michaels to get Mike Tirico in there, and Al Michaels ends up uh on ESPN.
Again? Or wait, no, that
It
was Chris
might
Collinsworth. Which one of them was on ESPN in the past?
neither
Oh, I thought one of
the
them was.
the
They did
the
Monday. I thought one of them did
they
Monday Night
they
Football
did
for.
they did Monday Night Football, but when ABC had Monday Night
I
Football.
missed that it used to be on ABC. I love watching Monday Night Football on
Yep.
ABC, and then they just disappeared, and every game's now on Fox.
Every game is now on ESPN
Yeah,
on
like
Monday
after
nights,
because there
and
were games on CBS, NBC, and ABC. But then once Fox joined into part of the main channels, the guaranteed you get no matter what, they've all gone there, and Monday Night Football just moved to ESPN only. The only time you'll see it on ABC was this week, the playoffs, the wild card round, and
yep.
possibly next week. But the way I remember the other guy talking to John Gruden in that Titans Chiefs games, which I want to talk about in a moment or later. It's like if this is the last game I get to commentate with you, it's been an honor with being with you, sir. And it's like,
Yep.
yeah, he's not wrong there because Gruden was actually pretty good up on the press box.
He did a good job commentating. He was always very comedic, and a lot of his reactions are pretty legendary. So,
Yep,
you
that's
know,
why him and Tarico
it's
were great together.
yeah, it's sad to see him go, but I mean,
Yeah, I don't want
when
Rex Ryan.
someone gives you a dump truck full of money, you take the dump truck full of money. I'll take a dump truck full of money. Hey, NFL, I would like to be someone's scout because I called Case Keenum and I called a bunch of different stuff on this podcast. Give me a dump truck full of money, please.
Yeah, uh, I've got my own fair share of predictions correct. Now I
Exactly.
just need
We both we both need dump trucks full of money there.
yeah, make me a goddamn make me have my own podcast too where I can make money. I mean, it won't
Heck
pay that
yeah.
much, but hey, I'll take it. Put me on around the NFL with the actual other guys. That would make me happy. Hell,
Exactly.
I'll be the producer. I'll take that job too.
Right.
But anyway, so John Gruden's with the Raiders. It's absolutely official now. Even though when we were talking about last week, it wasn't official. It wasn't confirmed. It was all but confirmed. But now they've officially declared it.
Oh
So
yeah.
you know what? I still will root for the Raiders to win a Super Bowl until they move. Once they move, nope. Las Vegas doesn't deserve one. Oakland deserves one more. So yeah.
Right.
But we'll see what they got to do. They have a defense to fix, and I think with McKenzie there, I want to say he'll do it. I want to say he'll have a chance, especially when they have a really good draft pick now. They've got a good draft pick to fix their shit. We'll see if they do it, but well, I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to a bit of Detroit. We're gonna focus on Detroit a little bit. With one person leaving, Terrell Austin, the defensive coordinator, has moved to become the Bengals defensive coordinator because like we said last week, they gave what's his face a 2-year extension.
Marvin Lewis. Yep.
God damn it! It's like, oh, we're gonna fire him. No, just kidding. Gonna give 2 years. Come
Right.
on, man. We were all joking, like, oh, here comes that extension, and then they're like, oh, you really were gonna do it. We joked, thinking there's no way you'd fuck it up.
And they did.
They did, because one person I listened to from the Around the NFL podcast calls them a mom and pop organization, which I don't know how. If you run a sports team, you own a sports team. How could you be considered one of those? You
Right.
know,
I mean,
you're a $1 billion business.
the Cincinnati Reds when Marge Schott used to own the Cincinnati Reds in baseball. Literally, she was she owned a car dealership, her and her husband, and that's how they made their millions upon millions upon millions. And they were almost a mom and pop type sports team.
Yeah, the only one I know that's a non-profit is Green Bay. They're the only
Yeah, the Green.
non-profit, so
Yep.
good on them. That's the only praise I'll really give them. But
Oh, Green Bay
anyway,
is owned by the people of Green Bay.
Green Bay actually has their own GM, so now it's hard on the Texans. But Texans haven't made any progress because they keep getting their requests blocked by either Philly or New England.
Yep.
But
Well,
anyway, if here's the thing, Bill, when we get to the other side of the lines, you're gonna understand that part where I said the Patriots are blocking certain interviews is gonna really show how one of them is very likely going to leave, unlike other years. But anyway,
right.
so on to Cincinnati. Terrell Austin is gone. Bill, why do you think this is? It's gonna transition to our next story, but I just want to know
Why?
why.
Why do I think Terrell Austin being in Cincinnati matters? Is that uh, basically it shows the hand of what the Lions have already agreed to, and they're gonna say that they haven't agreed to anything and interview other candidates, but we all know that it's probably going to happen because of a great relationship between Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator of the New England Patriots. If you really look at it, the defensive coordinator of the Patriots comes to Detroit. You get rid of the defensive coordinator out of Detroit who doesn't run the same scheme. He doesn't run the Patriots scheme. The Patriots scheme will be Matt Patricia will bring someone in that knows the Patriots scheme, and that most likely could be, Romeo Crennel, etc., etc.
I don't know. Something tells me there's also one thing. Mike Vrabel has also been getting a lot of stuff, which shocks me, considering to me the Texans' defense felt worse. Like the secondary, I felt was absolute garbage, which I blame actual old age and injuries. But I guess the GMs don't see it that way. So if Mike Vrabel goes, I actually will be interested to see what Romeo Crennel will do, because I'm surprised that nobody wants to go for him. Maybe because he likes his job now, but I wonder if Vrabel left, would Crennel take his job back? I just
No
want to.
idea.
Yeah, but right now a lot of defensive coordinators are getting looks. That's why Terrell Austin got a job, and I wouldn't be surprised if Vrabel had a chance of being a head coach. But right now, all the head coaching jobs are already going away, and I think the Lions considered him too, but I don't think they actually went for the interview. There were rumors indicating they wanted to interview him too, but right now it's just been Patricia and a couple others.
Yeah. I honestly, if you don't hear anything out of Detroit about them interviewing anyone else, then we already know who the Lions have chosen. And it's one of those four. And most likely it's 99.9% going to be Matt Patricia.
Yep, it's just that they're just waiting for this season to be over.
Yep.
But anyway, Bill. So I was going to say Matt Patricia to the Lions feels likely because that they're not allowing other people to go speak to other teams, but Patricia seems to be going wherever the hell he wants. I believe he actually also went for an interview with the Bears, but obviously the Bears did not get him because they took some guy named Nagy. I don't know how you pronounce the guy's last
Yeah,
name.
Nagy.
Yeah, they have their own head coaching job locked up.
I think that was the wrong hire. I mean, we'll see what it is.
Yeah,
But I
because
mean,
remember we were questioning the Rams' choice, and look where they're at.
yeah, I mean, I just feel like, after they want some excitement around that team, and the key thing for the Bears is to develop Mitch Trubisky. Trubisky showed flashes in the season. He just didn't show a lot. You know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I count flashes against the Browns the Revolutionary.
Yeah, I mean, no, during the entire season, he sort of showed flashes. He has an escapability that gave the Lions some trouble. He kept running for first downs.
Yeah, just like that
Trubisky
time they
is
missed
going to
the
be.
field goal in that first game, where they let him go 20 yards to get a first down.
Yep,
That was
exactly.
that was horrible. That was scary. But either way, Yeah, I mean, he's got potential, but remember, Bill, I mean, let's be real. Out of the quarterbacks from that first round this year, the one who clearly looked the
Yeah,
best was,
I,
no
we
debate,
we
Deshaun.
it's Deshaun Watson, by a long shot.
Him and Watt were actually working out together a couple weeks ago, like after the season was over. So, and I'm no doctor, but he's recovering from his ACL injury pretty quickly. If those two are already getting to work, which
Oh yeah.
makes me excited, but at the same time, it's like, please don't fuck it up. Please don't get yourselves hurt again.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the time frame, you know, he got injured during the season, so he should be ready to go the following season, week one. So, looking at time frames, I always sort of put ACL injuries. If it's just ACL, 6 to 9 months, most likely.
Yep. But Bill, you know why I fear it. I don't want another RG3 to happen.
Right.
Because remember,
I agree.
RG3 looked good until he started getting injured again and again.
Right. The issue is the protection for Deshaun Watson and making sure that your quarterback doesn't take unnecessary shots.
Yeah, well, bad news. We don't have two first round pick. We don't have a first round or a second round pick to address that issue.
Yep, that's the
So
issue.
when we talk the draft, expect the Houston Texans to not even be up for talk at all, except for the late round stuff.
Right.
We can't say much in terms of the late round because it's hard enough trying to predict the first round, but then trying to guess every position or
Yeah.
every round for those teams. I don't know how some people think they can do it, but I couldn't. I can only
No.
give you a
No.
vague position and hope it works. But that's only I can do. Next year though, next year's draft picks should be good because you get a second rounder from the Seahawks and you get their fifth rounder. Or no,
Yep.
was it their third? I don't remember. Either
I
way,
don't
you
remember
got two
either.
second round picks next year. That's good for tradability or just addressing with some a little high round draft pick talents to address situations. So next year will be a good chance to fix everything, but not this year. This year you're stuck with hope to God these talents actually prove themselves in the long run. You're swinging for the fences with this draft.
Right.
Anyway, Bill, let's move on to some of the games because there's not much to some of them. Like, for example, the Rams Falcons game was such a disappointment. That place was rocking, and yet they got that. They got that showing. That was. It felt like the old Jared Goff showed himself that day, and I hated it.
Yep. I mean, you know, uh, the Rams just didn't come out to play football in that game. Uh, and it was a pitiful showing, and they'll be back next year better than ever. They didn't surprisingly run the football very effectively either.
Yeah, they
With
gave it up.
Gurley.
Yep, and now the Falcons actually look like their old Super Bowl selves. But the question is, can they handle teams like the Vikings and the Saints? Because
Yep.
they've got to play the Eagles, and I like their chances personally. I feel like they could
The,
fuck it up, but I don't know.
it it really all depends, but the Atlanta Falcons came out and played football, but I mean, Matt Ryan was under duress the entire game,
Because
and
Aaron Donald's a monster.
that cannot happen anymore. You cannot have. I mean, there was a shot that Matt Ryan took to the back of the head that literally had his helmet go dig into his scalp and rip a part of his scalp behind his ear out. So you can't allow your quarterback to take those sort of shots.
Yep. And that wasn't the worst. That wasn't some of the worst hits though. There were some where players got knocked out, but
Yep.
that was in the Jags Bills game where at the end Dante Fowler knocked
Tyrod
Tyron
Taylor.
Taylor Tyrod Taylor out of the game. He was knocked out cold.
Yep.
He wasn't responding for a bit, but
Yep. It
I
was.
part of me hopes Dante Fowler would be fine because that hit with his body against his head. Because to me, you're supposed to tackle, but it looked like he tried to body slam Tyrod Taylor,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
when you got
that
your chest, like the center of your chest, behind a guy's helmet. I know that he might be taller than Tyra, which I don't know if he was, because to me it
right.
looked like he kind of leaped his way forward to get him. But to get if you
To
have your chest on the back of the guy's head, that should be to
yeah.
me a fine. Which
To
that also
to
applies to the Saints as well because they knocked out Cam Newton. I know Cam was low, so there's not much you can do. But that hit, just
right.
two consecutive hits.
I mean, the Dante Fowler one that looked a little dirty in my opinion. It really
The
did.
Jags have
Uh,
always been dirty, trash talking
I mean,
teams or a team. I mean, remember
he,
when there was this interview where Jalen Ramsey was asked a simple question: "Do you think you can cover anybody?" And he could have just simply said, "Yeah, I think I can," and that would have been fine. But he went on implying that he'll try that he doesn't mean to trash talk people, but he just does, and people get offended. This was after the game, where he got in a fight with AJ Green. It
yep,
was after that fight. All he needed to do is answer that question, but he went on basically kind of like not just shitting on AJ Green, but anybody. You think like saying that he likes to get under their skin. He admitted it that he likes to get under people's skin to provoke them. He doesn't want to fight them, but he just wants to poke fun at them, try to get them aggravated, and make them want to make mistakes. That's what he says. But in
right,
that I couldn't get the exact messages because I got to go watch that interview again. But in a way, he was like, "It's not my fault. It's their fault." But it's just sounding like the more he just kept talking more than he should have. He's like, there were a lot of moments I was like, "Dude, just shut up. You're making yourself look bad." It just all you
right,
needed to do was just say, "Yeah, I think I can cover anybody. I feel like the sky's the limit for me." Just give you a simple generic answer, and that's it. But no, he had to keep talking, like saying, I'm not saying all these wide receivers are bad, but I think they are."
right.
It's like, why, man? Why? Of course, that's why these wide receivers have shit with you. And then
Yep.
he is the start of it, and that's why I thought, to be honest, I thought he would be better with Dallas because if you think that's bad, wait, imagine if he was a Cowboy, that shit would be expected in Dallas. That's why sure Zeke fits well over there, but Jalen Ramsey would be their missing piece on defense to fix it. But oh well, I guess Ezekiel Elliott will save the Cowboys. I don't know. I mean, in a way he was much more needed than Dak right now, considering they were lost on offense without Zeke.
Right.
Anyway, Bill, let's talk about let's go into more detail with two games because those other games there were some things to note. We already did. The Rams didn't show up, and the Jags just made knocked out Tyrod, and he wasn't doing any favors for his team either. But
Right.
anyway, Bill, um, Titans versus Chiefs. I didn't think we were gonna talk
Oh.
about this game before the before the end of the third quarter. I thought, oh great,
It,
this is gonna be a boring ass game.
it
Nope.
looked like a blowout.
It
Yeah.
looked like a blowout. 20. What was it? They had an 18-point lead
Well,
on them,
yep.
21-3.
Mm-hmm.
But then it began. Marcus Mariota had to start trying, and it all started with a touchdown pass to himself.
Yep. I saw a tweet on Twitter that said, now all they need to do is throw them out there on defense and to run the football, and they have the whole team, and it's Marcus Mariota. I was, and you know that was a really interesting play because the ball got batted in a weird direction by I think Darrell Revis, and it just got batted in a strange direction, and it somehow found Marcus Mariota, and he ran it in.
Yep. I don't think you'll ever see a touchdown pass to yourself.
Very rare. The scoring. Marcus Mariota, 5-yard pass to Marcus Mariota. And that was
Here's
intriguing.
my
That
question,
was
Bill. Titans fans are getting very confident, very cocky, and acting like they're tough shit because they beat the Chiefs. But at the same time, I have to ask you, you've beaten them 3 times in a row. Are they? I mean, I don't know what the Titans have. They seem to have their number like the Steelers do.
right.
But I have to say, was this a bigger win for the Titans or a bigger loss to the Chiefs?
To me, this is a bigger loss to the Chiefs. And here's the thing: is they had that game won, and then they let off the gas pedal, and they played complacent. And the Titans, give them credit, because the Titans came back. They played their butts off to win that game. They played amazing football. But the Kansas City Chiefs, when you're up 21-3, you make it 28-3. You don't allow this team to hang around. They got too cute on offense. They started doing random plays. You run the football, you end the game. Screen passes to Kareem Hunt, etc., etc. They just imploded their own chances of winning the game.
Yeah. I was going to say as well. Um, the whole rumors about Alex Smith being traded. Now it feels like there is a bit of a chance that that can happen. Even though I'm
I
not sure
think
if the game could really be blamed on him, all on him.
no.
I'm not sure. I feel like it's more of the defense fucking up a bit, and the
Yeah.
offense. I mean, there's still problems with the offense. They let off the gas every much as the defense, but they couldn't even put up anything.
Well, everyone knows that the Kansas City defense was not exactly performing up to their best, going into that either. I mean, Kansas City lucked out to make the playoffs, and then, because they started playing with a fire in their chest, and they just squandered it.
Yeah, but I mean, if Titans fans think they're top shit, go be the Patriots in Foxborough when it's gonna be rain and snow mixed together.
Oh, if this storm, because I know we're getting a storm on Saturday, and it's going to be a big snowstorm, and it's on the East Coast. If it's a Saturday, Sunday, what day is New England play? New England
I'm not
plays
sure.
on Saturday. Saturday, so
They might
the
not get it.
Steelers game could be a little bit better in terms, but I mean, the whole East Coast is going to have a snow rain mix. It's going to be a mess this weekend. So I mean, good luck, good luck.
Yep. But I will say even though I wanted the Chiefs to win, here's a fun fact, Bill. There were only 4 games where a team had blown a 18-point lead going into halftime. Andy Reid has coached 2 of those teams. The first game that he blew it was that 45-44 comeback game against the Colts,
Yep.
which that's got to be one of the best games I've seen too, by the way.
Right.
Oh dear God, that had to have been very embarrassing for for Andy Reid to find out. But I mean, Pat Mahomes when? I mean, if that's what I think. If Deshaun Watson's playing like a Hall of Famer already, Pat Mahomes must be a god in the making.
I mean, the good thing is that they sat him a year. If you're going to start him next year. He should have a little bit of seasoning to learn the offense, get the reps in, et cetera, et cetera. Get the timing down with your wide receivers. Make sure that you don't keep Alex Smith then, because then you turn over the keys to the Lamborghini to Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes, he has the ability to do it.
Where do you think they'd trade Alex Smith to?
Where do I think they trade Alex Smith to? I mean, any team that really needs a quarterback. I mean, I think Jacksonville would gladly take uh, uh, Alex Smith or Eli Manning.
I think they
The
would go Eli
Giants might
Manning
be,
because Tom Coughlin.
and that's very possible. I mean, it really depends. To be fair, Alex Smith could go to Cleveland
Oh
as
God, they want
well.
to kill off his career.
I mean, they need a veteran that they can start and get. they need to give their quarterback. I mean, Deshaun Kaiser, if you're going to start him, I mean, go for it. Maybe he needs just some time to not be on the field and getting destroyed. I mean, next year they'll have a whole year of Corey Coleman and Josh Gordon together, and then they have Isaiah Crowell on offense. So they're not exactly hurting on the offensive side, and they have Myles Garrett. So they will be a better team next year.
Possibly. Either way. As for the Titans, like I said, they got New England. They got the throne of ease to go up against. Marcus Mariota is about to get humbled because New England owns the AFC South. They always have and they always will. Without Peyton Manning there is no hope for the AFC South to scrape even one win against them. But anyway,
Right.
Bill, let's move on to the other game. The Panthers-Saints game. This one was a tale of two halves. The first half was all Saints easy. The Saints were having their way with the Panthers. I mean, they got two earlier, not early touchdowns, but the offense was thriving. Ted Ginn Jr. was sticking it to his former team who let him go. It was the perfect situation for a Ted Ginn grudge match. I know he had one when he went to Carolina in the beginning of the season, but to stick it to your team and to your former team, but then eliminate them from playoff contention felt good. And he had a really good touchdown pass. Drew Brees was having a half in the first. Was having a half, but second half the Panthers started coming back, Bill, and it looked like things were coming up Panthers, but then I didn't see the end until I didn't see the part where the Saints had the ball last. But I heard John Gruden, or not John. Why am I thinking John Gruden? Sean Payton made a very ballsy decision. Do you know what he did? Because I don't know.
I don't know, to be honest.
I think. Okay, based on what happened, and I know they scored that drive, I have to assume they went for it on fourth down, and they got it.
Most likely. Yeah. I
Basically,
mean,
he
that's
did what he did what Jack Del Rio did to him last year.
oh yeah.
You know, I had to do it to him, and so he did, and they won. But let
I
me
mean,
tell you, we mentioned earlier the part where Cam was taken out of the game for a bit. He came back. I feel like he got a concussion. The NFL is going to investigate it because they think the Panthers did not investigate or check for his concussion properly. And if they find something, oh boy, I am looking forward to see how much more of the Panthers organization can be a tire fire.
yeah.
Bad
To
enough
be
the owner
fair,
likes to sexually harass women, and now has to sell his team. But now you have this.
right. I mean, overall, if Cam Newton didn't have if he didn't have a concussion, then he's the greatest method actor of all time, and he over exaggerated his something getting in his eye, like, oh my God, something got in my eye, better get on one knee and be wobbly all over the place. I mean, give me a break.
That was a concussion.
Yeah, it's a concussion.
And
We all know
because when I saw the slow mo with his face, it's like, okay, I've seen this. Savage had this shit.
Yep.
But anyway, so what to me, the other thing was that concussion to me might have affected his throwing ability because there were a couple of plays where I thought that should have been a catch. Like I think Cam just didn't put the ball where it should have been. At first I thought no, the wide receiver like Funches, he did not adjust. No, I think he was expecting the ball in that right spot, and Cam just didn't throw it at the right spot. He kept underthrowing it or whatever. It went too much to the left most of the time. But either way, the main there was a small bit of controversy. It's not really enough because to me everyone's like it's a good call, and I agree. The intentional grounding. Some like Ron Rivera and Cam Newton were utterly pissed, saying that shouldn't be a intentional grounding. It's like, yeah, it was. Cam was out of the pocket. If he threw it where he was at first, I don't think it would have been because he would have still been in the pocket. But by the time he escaped a little bit for a second before he had to throw it before. I don't know who got him, but I think Cam Jordan either hit him first or second. I don't remember on that
Right.
one. Either way, it was intentional grounding to me. It was a play they actually got right, and they almost forgot the 10-second runoff, and that was because with the game before that, the Jags Bills game, Roman was saying, "Where's the 10-second runoff? Where's the consistency?" But no, they just never said, "Please take 10 seconds off the clock." Romo didn't know, and I didn't either. It's like, wait, hey, all the Lions fans watching, it's like, hey, where's that 10-second runoff, guys?
Yep.
Yeah, why aren't you doing the 10-second
And,
runoff? You don't do it for
and
the Saints and the Panthers, but you do it for Detroit. What's wrong with you?
yep, like normal. But yeah, I mean, overall, I thought it was an intentional grounding myself. It was definitely in the box. I mean, maybe borderline box, but still in the box. And you just cannot throw that pass in the box like that. Just, you can't do it. You heave it over your receiver's head or something. Just do something. Just don't, because then you could be like, oh, well, I was throwing it at that guy, and there you go.
But anyway, Bill. So the Panthers are out, and it begs the question: hey, Panthers and Panthers fans, what do you do if the haters dab back? I'll wait for your response by the next season.
Oh,
Anyway, enough of the Paul brothers reference. We're done with them. Nobody wants to think of those guys.
oh my God.
Trashy guys. To any parents watching the podcast, be sure to make sure you know what your kids are watching. But with the PSA out of the way, Bill, there's not much else to talk about because, to be honest, I'm having a tough time scrounging up subjects. I thought by now we would have at least had the Texans get their GM or something, some news concerning
Nope.
one of the teams. But the Cowboys don't want to change the status quo because they love Jason Garrett. It's like, no, I don't want to fire Jason Garrett because he doesn't challenge me. He lets me run the show. He lets me open my goddamn mouth and say whatever I want.
Yeah,
Says Jerry Jones.
and with the Lions, the less you hear, the more likely it is Matt Patricia. I mean,
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't like. I'm starting to feel like that is very likely the case. It's a waiting game. It was like the 49ers with what's his name? Bill, you say.
Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, it's the same thing like with Kyle Shanahan. Everyone knew it was coming. They just didn't say it until Super Bowl week.
Correct. And if that were to happen, they would definitely announce it Super Bowl week.
Yep, they would definitely announce it if the Patriots made the Super Bowl to play whoever. I don't know.
Correct.
But anyway, Bill. Yeah, there's not much else to talk about. And the Patriots are the Patriots. There is that snowstorm you mentioned, Bill, to note, and it could drastically affect the games. Hell, if they're severe enough, they may either push the games up or make them be delayed.
Correct. I mean,
Just like
to
last
be
year with the
fair,
Chiefs Steelers game.
very possible.
So
I mean,
yeah, the weather is going to be an issue. So anyone going to see those games, keep an eye on the weather. Stay warm.
yep.
Maybe the stadiums will offer free cocoa. I know at least Lambeau Stadium always offers free hot cocoa or coffee for people there when it's super cold.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
let's hope
definitely.
these teams aren't stingy enough to not do that.
Correct.
But anyway, Bill. So there's not much else to go. This is the shortest podcast of the season. Are you ready for the picks?
Indeed. All right, here we go. Saturday, the 4 o'clock game, the Atlanta Falcons at the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm going with the Falcons. I don't care if you give the Eagles a month. The Eagles do not look the same without the Messiah, Carson Wentz. If you refer to the
Eh,
Book of Wentz, without your savior, there is no hope. There is only
there.
chaos as the evil bird falcon devil rises.
I've also got the evil Falcons as well. Uh, the Eagles are just, like you said, not the same without Wentz. And the Falcons, are gonna be a little bit more confident, but you know, we'll see how far they go.
Bill, I'll be honest, I really want a day where all teams based on birds would get in the playoffs just so I could have so many more of these Battle of the Bird games.
Oh man. All right. So the 8 o'clock game on Saturday is the Tennessee Titans at the New England Patriots.
Tom Brady shows Marcus Mariota how it's done. These Patriots are about to school the Titans, or should I say the Titoons, as the Patriots cruise to an easy and yet another AFC title game appearance. I think that's 11 straight.
It'd be some crazy number. I've got the Patriots as well. I just, Tennessee. Tennessee's barely beat Kansas City, and Kansas City has no defense. So, I mean, Patriots are tightening up the ship on defense. All right, now Sunday, the 1 o'clock game, the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh boy, I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh. As much as I want the Jags to win, I feel like in the cold, the Jaguar will pass out and it will just lay in the ground as the Steeler works its way to another AFC title game appearance themselves.
And see, I think I've got the Jacksonville Jaguars. They've already had a 5 interception game on Ben Roethlisberger already once this season, and the Steelers will learn from those lessons. But I mean, you got two of the best corners in the game, and they're gonna take away Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. So, uh, I just have a weird feeling it's gonna be Jacksonville. And then
Bill, I'll tell
the
you, I
four.
won't be against it because if the Jags play the Patriots, I will be ecstatic to see the ultimate meltdown.
Oh man. And then the 4 o'clock game, the New Orleans Saints at the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh boy, how far these two teams have come since week 1. So much has changed. The Saints defense went from the worst to one of the best. And then the Vikings have went from Sam Bradford to Case Keenum. Had I told you that the Vikings would make the playoffs with Case Keenum as their lead quarterback, I know I would be laughed at and burned at the stake. But anyway, I am going to go with the Saints because why? I want my Patriots-Saints Super Bowl matchup. I want to see two of the best quarterbacks of our generation go at it because you could never have a Peyton Brady Super Bowl ever. So let me have a Brady Breeze Super Bowl. That would be very fun.
And see, I've got the best defense, and that's the Vikings. They're going to strangle the Saints offense with a week to prepare for them and a week of getting healthy. They'll have Thielen, they'll have Latavius Murray, they've got Case Keenum, they got Stephon Diggs, and that defense is legit nasty. I got the Vikings. I legit think they could be the Super Bowl champions very easily. They are the most complete team.
All right, Bill. So, do you? I guess all that's left is waiting for the title games. But
Yep.
I don't know, Bill. I feel like most of these games, save for one, really, could kind of go either way.
Yeah, I agree. Overall, I feel like this. I think the best game on paper is the Saints Vikings game. Most of these games are very much. They could go either way.
Actually, I'd say the Jags Steelers game could be pretty good. I feel like Big Ben, he shouldn't do the same fuck up twice. And hopefully Antonio Brown is there. They really do need him because you have him, you have Martavis Bryant, and then Juju Schuster-Smith. I think there would be hope. But I'll tell you right now, if Antonio Brown isn't there, I think I will go with the Jaguars. Because I just kind of forgot that he may not play this week. They really need him if they want to go and if they want any hope of a Super Bowl.
I
Anyway,
agree.
that'll do it. The shortest podcast of the season so far. Next week we will be here to talk about some real football games. Now, because we're now playing actual real football, because only one game last week was actually really good, for the right reasons, not for the comedic. Thank you, Chiefs. The Chiefs are the comic relief of the football world right now, for the playoffs at least, and I, for one, welcome it.
Right.
Anyway, Bill, next week we've got real, even better football, so yeah, we will see you guys
Oh yeah.
then.